I love what you said about the fact that like a lot of the SS24 trends are continuing into autumn winter. You were seeing a lot of this because there were like trenches and puffers and because of global warming, to be fair, the weather is not that extreme.
crazy.
Only in like a few months it's really extreme, but for the most part you can kind of cross over a lot of the stuff. But that mirroring in SS24 and SS23 and AW24 was particularly seen in Gucci's collection. So this is the first menswear collection by the new creative director Sabato De Sarno, but his second collection. So his first one was the women's.
Right.
And there were actual direct mirrored looks. So there was this look with like a long sort of trench coat on a woman with super short shorts, because we said short shorts are in, and then you
Literally
had the
hot
man wearing basically like the similar outfit but with trousers. There were mirrored jackets and some other mirrored like knitwear looks as well, which was quite interesting. There were some criticisms of that from some people,
like
saying that like like lazy, boring, and he was like
boring.
yawn. I can't remember. And he was basically like, listen girl, I'm not looking for an Instagram moment, okay?
Yeah.
What his focus is more on like the construction and the quality, which I guess often you're not gonna see the quality of the piece through a video or through a picture. You have to kind of like be there. I found I'll say that bit after. So the collection it's obviously similar to the women's. So it's the Ancora series and it's a love letter to Milan.
Oh.
So you had like deep reds in the collection, which speaks to like, the lust, the love. There were greens, there were blues, kind of giving that kind of like city vibe aesthetic. There were nods to like the heydays of the 90s of Gucci. We already said like a lot of 90s silhouettes are coming in, and when you looked at the collection it was like, okay, like this is very like classic 90s vibes. And he did say that because Tom Ford was a creative director in the 90s and some of his collections were on his mood board.
Right.
So I kind of see what you're doing, and it's like if it's not broke, don't fix it. Sometimes it's nice to have like a quintessential look. I feel like Chanel does it really well. I'm so bored of Chanel shows because I'm like, you're giving me the same two-piece skirt and blazer.
Whatever it's called.
Like, I'm bored.
Like people want like something spectacular and huge like every single time, or something out of this world that's like, again, never been done before. But it's like, what do you want from me?
Yeah. No, I get it. But the only thing I would say, I feel like if you're coming in as like, this is my debut men's, give me a Pharrell moment where you're giving me something that is like distinctively you, and not just reminiscent of the house in general. I guess you can do both ways, but he also has a background in some of his previous design roles. He was at Prada, D&G, and there was a part of the collection that was like monochrome, so very like blacks and whites with like jewels, Dolce. And it gave me Prada. It gave me almost like Prada Miu Miu energy. If you see the visuals, I'll show you the visuals. And then I was, because when I first watched it, I was like, oh, that feels very Prada. And then when I found out he has a background at Prada, I was like,
makes sense.
Okay, I'm kind of with you. So I guess to summarize the things we saw, like I said, we had like the deep red burgundies. There were like different shaped men's bags, which was really cool. You had classics, tailored silhouettes. We saw pops of color. So we had like lime greens, we had blues, we had forest greens, mustard yellow.
I love mustard yellow.
Absolutely obsessed. Primary colors in general and block coloring will be a thing this year.
Yeah.
So get your colors out, go crazy.
And like clash them.
Yeah.
There were loads of clashes.
It's like, it's not even a clash, it's fashion.
Yeah.
Like I said, we had like the bejazzled elements, so on trousers, on collars of knitwear. And generally I got a very youthful vibe but not so youthful like Gen Z, but I could also see like the old Gen Z fashion lot wearing it. Like it didn't feel as old. I know I'm throwing shade again at Chanel, but just something about Chanel, it's just like, it's not for my age group. And that's fine.
Yeah, it's
but
for
this
when
was
you're
very
like late 40s, Chanel.
The shade is real.